NIO, the company, automaker company, EV maker company, has reported first quarter of 2023, and numbers were horrible. But to my surprise, and to surprise for many, the NIO stock itself actually did well. Then it came down a little bit, but overall the stock didn't crash. According to numbers that they reported, many people would expect the stock to crash, and it will be like 10-20%, but that didn't happen. So if you stick around in this video today, I'm going to show you the numbers and the reason why stock NIO did not crash and what to expect going forward. So if it's your first time, just make sure you subscribe, because I'm going to give you content, up-to-date information about NIO stock and any other good stocks to invest your money in 2023, and also passive income if you're a passive income investor. And also, if you like my content, just make sure you like the content as well. Okay, so let's go. So we look at the NIO. The first thing we look at NIO stock itself. If we look at the NIO class, of course, this is ADR. Now this is the NIO that's traded in China. Yes, it's the same company, but this particular it's ADR, which is traded on New York Stock Exchange. It was up a little bit. It was up about one. If we look at the day today, it was up about 1%, 1.5%. It was at 1.785. Then it went down to, it closed about 773. So it was down about less than 1%, 0.77%. But we look at the after hours. Look, NIO went up about it almost regained half of what it lost, and it seems to be trending up after hours. So we'll look at the report. I have a really good from Bazinga, which is has summarized the the NIO report. First, if we go to, this is actually a NIO website. This is a NIO company official website, and they actually have a good on their PDF. These are the numbers they reported. So if you want to go to NIO website, you can find full report if you want to read all the report, but you don't have to do that, because I'm just going to give you a summary here. And if you're a subscriber, then you're going to know everything that's happening with NIO going forward. But this is actually official the report. But we look at the Bazinga website, they kind of summarize this, and we look at the NIO report first quarter sales growth of 7.7 year to 1 year on. So year to year, so 1 year on 1 year, right? So from last year to this was 7%, but missing consensus was about 1.63 billion. So that was it. And a vehicle delivery increase of 20%, right? A unit down by 22% quarter. So the fourth quarter of last year, compared to this quarter, of course, is down 22%. But when you look up year per year basis, right, it's increase of 20%. So it's kind of confusing. So if you compare 1 year, like 2022, 2023, or 2021, 2022, we look at the numbers has increased by 20%. But if you look from last quarter to this quarter, the decrease will be about 22%. That's kind of earning report are very confusing sometimes, but that's how it is. Vehicle sale declined by 0.02, right? Which equate to 1.34 billion. This is US dollar. When I look at this one at 9.22, that's a billion. So because I remember there's one person actually made a point on this one, because the last time when I gave you numbers, some numbers were actually Chinese RMB, so it's there's a huge number. But when it comes to US dollar, it's a little bit less. So for example, this one here, you see RMB was a 9.22 billion, but it equates to 1.34 billion USD. So it depends where you're reading this from. It can be RMB, and some website actually they don't distinguish. They can just put 9 billion, but it's actually 9 billion Chinese yuan or whatever RMB, their currency there, versus US dollars. So gross profit quarter decreased by 88.86 million, and gross margin contracted by 1,310 basis point, or 1.5, due to reduced vehicle margin. Loss from operation widened, right, to 7.44 million. Adjusted EPS loss of 36. That was a bit by consensus of loss 41 cents. So all these numbers are very confusing, and a lot of it. So end of the day, actually, the report was not as great. Their numbers were good. Some numbers were not as good. We look at the outlook of NIO in the future, right? This is what market is looking quarter 2. Vehicle delivery of 23,000, to 25,000 is down. That will be down from 8, by 8. So that's the bad news, because the market is going to look forward and say, wow, the numbers aren't looking good, looking forward. So that would crush the stock, right? That would be how much they're going to, whatever. The company expects quarter 2 revenue of 1.27 billion and that will be 1.36 billion, down by 15% year to year, right? So it'll be down. So all these numbers are really kind of bad, so why, after all these numbers, actually the stock didn't crash? So let's look at the other website, the report on that. And at the end of this video, I'm going to give you the expectation of NIO stock price. I actually made a video last week about NIO, and I told you the price is expected to be in the numbers from 1 year, which is to the 2023 up to 2027. Will be great numbers I showed you. And so there's this website I'm reading. Actually, this from this actually is from Nasdaq.com, but it was contributed from Manly Fool, and the guy who wrote was Howard Smith. He writes for Manly Fool. So this is article that was shared from Manly Fool to Nasdaq official website of Nasdaq exchange. So what happened, right? Look at this. I already told you all those numbers. Reported that Chinese EV maker NIO reported a loss of first quarter report, but stock is popping today anyway, right? NIO share jumped as much as 12% Friday morning, but that 12% was actually the stock traded in Chinese market, not in the US. The US market, which is ADR, was only up by 1.5%, as I showed you on this graph right here. Do you remember that? It only pop up like 1.5, and then it went down again. So what vehicle delivery in the first quarter rose by 20% year over year, right? They decreased by 22%, as I said, on a quarter basis. So from last quarter to this quarter was by 22%. That's big. But the information was already known for the company delivery update release on April 1st. So April 1st, NIO has released this information already to tell people, and by then, investor actually sold a lot of NIO stock, and stock decreased by 25%. So all the numbers came today were already expected. We already knew, of course, these are the numbers going to be. And if you remember when I showed you the number last week, remember I showed you the number from the other website. I showed you the number, all these numbers I shared already. So we already knew what NIO is going to report, sort of. So there was no big surprise, and the stock was already punished, from April 1st. So, when the news came today, there was no really biggest changes from what they reported. And if you look at the actual website, if you look at the NIO website, official website, this is, they say the vehicle delivery, they mentioned something like that, right? Here there's a sentence, they actually mentioned something like that. They say all these numbers, of course, the loss from operation. Look at here, they say the business outlook reflects the company current and preliminary review on a business situation and market condition, which is subject to change. Those reports were out there, but the biggest important information is this: the business outlook reflect market condition they have, but also this market condition is subject to change. It might change. Is not set and forgot. It's not set in stone numbers. So that's one of the only kind of more important information I'll give you. And when you look at there are more numbers, like the financial information earning report also wasn't great, but the bottom line was better than analysts expected. So that's something that give you hope, right? Bottom line, of course, bottom line is something that most people are looking for, right? Investors. NIO reported an adjusted net loss of 35 cents per share on revenue of nearly 1.6 billion. That's the US dollar. Okay, Wall Street analysts expected net loss of 39. So they expect 39, but they only lost 35 per share from sale of 1.7 billion, right? From not 1.6. So total revenue increased by 7.7% compared to the prior year period. So that kind of numbers, because they expected the loss of 39, but they only lost 35, and not on 1.7 billion, but only 1.6 billion that was expected. So because of these numbers and the numbers that was already reported in April 1st, and that's why we didn't see the stock crash, and the stock seemed to be holding steady, and it's at 773, and on the market after market hours it was at 776. And as I said, it was up and it came down a little bit because investors were kind of skeptical and they sold the stock. And you look at the Chinese market, the stock went up by 12%, but that has to be reflected before you can go to ADR. So at the end of the day, NIO is holding strong. And as I reported, I made that video. Check the link below. I made a video last week. We'll look at expectation of NIO. Do you remember that? Look, there are two websites here. There's one website that I mentioned. The highest they predicted stock to be was 31. Right, average is $18, but look at this website. It said the lowest it can go is $10. So right now it's at 7. So that means there's no more downside to NIO according to this website. It's just going to be up. But look, if you look at the price of what it is today to $31, that will be about 304%. That's a lot. But I showed you on another website, another analyst, they predicted NIO to be at, and first of all, it's a strong buy, and even all analysts are really strong buy, and they're predicting NIO to go as up as $93. That will be 1,115% upside. So again, we'll see what NIO does in the near future or in a far future. That's it for today. I just want to keep you an update on your stock. And if you have any comment on the numbers and revenue, anything like that, just make sure you comment below. And if you like my content, just make sure you like. And if it's your first time, just make sure you subscribe, because you're going to get this type of information, helpful information and news on a daily basis. Thank you for watching. Till we meet again. Bye bye.